Hi guys, and welcome to today's YouTube video. In today's video we will once again be discussing the current state of Bitcoin and the current state of Ethereum, in which we can both see that after sweeping this low, exactly like we discussed in Monday's video, that we saw a very nice and strong bounce towards the upside with a lot of momentum. On top of that, we can also, if we go on a 1 hourly time frame, that we definitely did get some kind of a market structure break over here, which is definitely a bullish sign in my opinion. Okay, after the move towards the upside, Bitcoin is actually forming some kind of a range, which is bullish in my opinion, because in my opinion right now it is looking like we are seeing some kind of a bullish accumulation range. Okay, so this could mean that Bitcoin is looking for another leg towards the upside, which is being supported by the fact that we have this untaken buy-side liquidity above this high, and on top of that we have a lot of unfilled imbalances over here below this supply area for Bitcoin, and also we have some unfilled imbalances over here below this supply area for Bitcoin. Okay, so we have some clear liquidity targets for Bitcoin towards the upside, which for me makes more sense right now for Bitcoin to keep continuing towards the upside during the last official trading week of the year. Okay, so from now this makes the most sense for me, so that is why I'm still holding my long position as I explained in Monday's video, and actually my DCA order got hit perfectly over here, so I already took out 50% profits over here, and I might be looking to add some more to my position if we get a bullish pullback towards the downside before continuing towards the upside. Because that is something that we might expect right now for Bitcoin, because we are seeing signs of bullish accumulation over here, but that doesn't mean necessarily that Bitcoin does already have the strength to continue towards the upside. Okay, often we see these accumulation ranges, then we see some manipulation occur below that accumulation range before we get a reclaim and that expansion towards the upside. So that is also what I'm currently looking at for Bitcoin. Okay, so we have our sell side liquidity below this low over here, and I kind of expect that low to be taken maybe today, maybe tomorrow, and we get some kind of a deeper pullback before we get a reclaim and a move towards the upside. But if that occurs and we don't push up from here, which is also definitely possible, what could be an interesting area for Bitcoin to see a potential bounce? Well, for that, I want to look at a couple of things. Over here, we have the fair value gap. So we have some imbalance that we created over here, and I would love to see at least a big part of that imbalance get filled. Over here is where we have our demand area over here. So let's extend that to the right. So we have our demand over there. Let's also take the Fibonacci retracement tool from swing low to swing high, and we can see that on top of that imbalance, on top of the fact that we want to take out the sell side liquidity below these two lows, we also have our golden pocket and also our 0.786 fib levels as pretty nice confluence for Bitcoin. Okay, over here is also where we have our breaker block. So this is what we call a breaker block. This is the area where we got that low time frame market structure break with an impulsive move towards the upside, and we haven't retested that yet. So we have a couple of confluences below the sell side liquidity that make me think that if we sweep that sell side liquidity into these confluences over here, that could be an area where you might be looking for a brand new long position if you aren't in a long position already. On top of that, this could also be meaning that we are looking at some kind of a 3-tap pattern. Okay, so let's remove this breaker block for a second, and we can see that we had our first step over here. We got a deviation below this range. Below that range, we got a deviation, we got a reclaim, and we got a solid move towards the upside. If Bitcoin right now comes back towards that range low, we might get some kind of a 3-tap pattern. Okay, so this is what we call a 3-tap pattern. Some people say will be an inverse head and shoulders, but this is basically just simple price action. We have our first step over here, our second tap over here, in which some people say this is the head, and we have our third tap, as some people say, the shoulder over here before we get another move towards the downside. Okay, so that is personally what I would be waiting for right now if you are not in a long position yet. Okay, so I am already in a long position, enjoying it. And if we get a pullback towards this area over here, towards that golden pocket, towards that 0.786 fib level, that is where I will be looking for a potential add-on on my current long position, in which I already took out 50%. Okay, another confluence that we could be looking at, if we are looking at a potential impulsive move towards the upside, which could be occurring right now in Bitcoin since we swept sell-side liquidity and we saw an impulsive bounce towards the upside. The second wave should usually retrace in between the golden pocket and in between the 0.786 level. So that is another confluence, okay? So that could be a sign that we are in a potential impulsive move towards the upside if we get a retracement towards that golden pocket. From there, maybe get a third wave, get a fourth wave, get a fifth wave. You get the point. Okay, guys? So that's it for Bitcoin. Let's right now move over to Ethereum. So for Ethereum, looking quite similar, maybe even looking a little stronger compared to Bitcoin. Why? We got that sell side liquidity sweep over here, in which we saw a stronger bounce compared to Bitcoin. We got a very nice break of structure over here. We got a market structure break over here, in which also Ethereum started consolidating just like Bitcoin. This looks like bullish accumulation to me, but also for Ethereum, we might be looking at some kind of the same type of scenario in which we also might get some kind of a PO3 pattern. So if we have our accumulation range over here, we might get some manipulation below that accumulation range before we get that expansion towards the upside. Okay, usually this happens because they are looking for that extra liquidity. They are looking to trap more people, to stop more people out of their position below those lows before continuing towards the upside. Okay. Also for Ethereum, the sell-side liquidity is very clear in my opinion, because we have this equal low over here beautifully created, and it would make sense to maybe take that one out, bounce from the support, reclaim, and then get that move towards the upside. Because also for Ethereum, we have that clear draw on liquidity. Okay, so over here, we have these unfilled imbalances. Over here, we have the buy-side liquidity where a lot of stop losses are resting. We have this untested supply area for Ethereum, and the same thing is happening over here. So we have this buy-side liquidity above these highs, unfilled imbalances, and also this supply area that is untested for Ethereum. So a little bit similar chart to Bitcoin, just a little bit more impulsive. So the moves towards the downside are more impulsive, and also the bounces towards the upside are more impulsive. Okay, so if we are looking for potential area of support for Ethereum, let's once again take the Fibonacci retracement, go from swing low to swing high, and once again let's mark out that golden pocket and that 0.786 fib level. Why? Because if we are in a potential impulsive move towards the upside, since we sweep that sell-side liquidity and got an impulsive bounce, we should retrace back in between the golden pocket and the 0.786 fib level before getting a potential third wave towards the upside. Okay, so also for Ethereum, that is what I'm currently looking at. So if we get a pullback, that golden pocket is in perfect confluence with our breaker block over here, as you can see. Okay, so once again, where we got that market structure break right here, it is in perfect confluence with that golden pocket. So that is actually something that is looking very, very nice in my opinion. So that is definitely already an area where I would be interested in a long position. Why? That would also mean that if we go on a 15-minute time frame and we zoom out, where do we have ourselves the liquidity? Our inducement right above the breaker block, right above that golden pocket. So in that case, we would also sweep the sell-side liquidity into that golden pocket, into the breaker block, and that would definitely make the most sense to me before we get some kind of a reclaim and another push towards the upside, towards our liquidity targets for Ethereum. Okay, we might even take a look at the current range and look at the volume profile to see if we get any more confluences. And what can we see? Over here, we definitely have a big volume spike with our point of control. But if we move down some lower, we can see that our value area low is exactly at our area of interest over here. Okay, and that is also exactly the area where we have another massive spike in volume, as you can see. So that is actually in perfect confluence with our area of interest and looking very nice. Okay, guys. So definitely looking very interesting on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. The only problem that we are looking at currently is that we are in the last official trading week of the year. So my advice to you guys is definitely to not be in more than one position at the same time. Because if you are, in my opinion, it is potential suicide that you are committing, because all the big banks, all the big institutions, all the big players are pulling out their money. Why? Because they are going on holidays, because they have to pay taxes, they have to get their earning reports ready. So a lot of people are pulling out their money, especially the bank and institutions, which is causing a lot of choppy movements, a lot of weird spikes. So definitely recommend to stick to Bitcoin and stick to Ethereum, maybe even try some forex trading, which I have been doing this week for the first time ever, and it is going pretty well, even though also the banking institutions are not available there as well. Okay, definitely stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum, stay away from altcoins until the end of the first week of the new year, because that is where all the banks and institutions have returned. So it is a game of patience. That is why we are not seeing a lot of movement on the markets currently. But try to be patient. Try to get that movement if it gets, if it gets there, of course. So be patient. Wait for the movement to occur, and then be ready to make some money. Okay, guys. If you guys have any questions after this pretty detailed update on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can always hook me up on Twitter, in my free Discord, maybe even in the YouTube comment section. Let me know what you think of this video. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to smash the like button. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.